Hello, everybody. Welcome to Theorize Manga, another weekly series where me and my friend Akira review manga weekly, typically Bleach. Um, so that's what we're here for this week. Gonna review Bleach 585, the Headless Star 4. Real quick before we can kind of address the last 4 weeks we weren't here. Basically, schedules came into conflict, and as we predicted the week before, so we didn't have that much time to actually take the time to get a review done, but we're back, hopefully, for more weeks to come. So any of this, go ahead and take it over to Kira, who will go over this week's chapter.
Yep, so this week it was 585, had to start 4. And to begin with, we have the usual main page of the flat character and the intro. This time Ichigo looking back at the light that happened last chapter sent out by Juha Bach. In the next page, we have him exclaiming about the light itself. And Juha has kind of the same utility that the Shinigami had at one point, where he could communicate via a near telepathy type thing, especially because it's concentrated on Ichigo himself. He thanks him for guiding us to the light. Next page, he exclaims that he's grateful. Ichigo questions that, obviously. With a point to the sky, he exclaims that he's thankful because now he can invade the Soul King's palace without even trying. This, as revealed in the next page, that because of the utilities that are created, are made from the bones and hairs of the royal guards. If that means there are previous ones that passed and they're using the bones now is not exactly foreseeable, but other than that, right now, that's all we know about it. So, to forcibly penetrate the 72 layers of barriers between Royal Palace and Cerete, he needed that to be worn in order to not basically get enough friction that he died from it. So, as such, because of it and its tremendous defense abilities, once passed through, they cannot be closed off for 6,000 seconds. Next page, Ichigo, basically startled, tries to go after him, or at least stop him from climbing up. At this point, Venus comes out, probably utilizing her ability, and slamming him into the nearest wall, followed by an entire good more than just 5 or so blocks of buildings being destroyed. After that, she claims that he thinks highly of himself for having tried to go right after the leader. Ichigo manages to escape from that. Nanana comes down and attempts to hit him. He dodges it, and once more chases after him. Afterwards, the unnamed Mel Quincy raises his handgun, which, assuming he's made of reishi and not sort of other utility for him, claims that he was very sturdy for having not been phased by Linus. At this point, he fires a bullet. Ichigo dodges it, and Bosby shows up behind him, and he's burning finger 1, which is blocked by a light of sorts. Next page is revealed that Bosby and was stopped by Renji, who probably Shikai-wise more than anything else had stopped him, and he says Ichigo owes him one for making the nick of time. At this point, it goes back to the sort of lighthearted comedic value of Bleach, between a little dispute between the two, and that he'll keep everybody busy while his duty, Ichigo's duty, is to go after Juha Bach. Next chapter, or at least page, he goes after him, and Quincy chases after. Of course, it's stopped by what is eventually shown to be Zenbo and Sakura, wherein Nana and Basbi are stopped. About five, maybe others, Shinigami show up and stop in their paths. After this, it is revealed that it is Ikaku, Yumichika, Byakuya, Hisagi, Renji, and Rukia that all show up to defend Ichigo and allow him to pass by.
All right. So that was this week. A relatively short chapter compared to most, but then again, every week's been relatively short. I mean, most people have been reading the chapters in about 2 to 3 minutes, because maybe less, because it's been more fight-based chapters rather than exposition, although we've been getting a mix of that, sort of. Um, Things to note, really, still not much. We don't really know what the light of beam is, the beam of light that Hoshwolf produced. And we still don't know if that's going to be the way they're getting to the Royal Realm. We don't know if that's just what was used to have Juhabak speak directly to Ichigo from that sort of distance. But the current theory that it is the way they're going to get into the go upward and go into the Royal Realm. It's people have been theorizing it to be an IX monogram. The IX monogram being basically a way of is just basically a symbol of representing Jesus Christ. Um, and that there's 6 different areas of the X currently, if you include the I, that are basically being theorized as places to stand, and that's basically theorizing how many people will come. Last chapter we saw Juhabak standing on the frontmost top, and then Uryu was in the back corner while Hashwaltham was in the middle, so that was leaving 4 spaces open, and people are theorizing that might be for the 3 other Sternritter that we don't know at the moment. We haven't been introduced to them. We don't know their names. We don't know what they look like. We don't know their epithets. And then another space might be for Askin, but we're not sure. So that's basically it. The 6,000 seconds mentioned by Juha, that's basically an hour and 40 minutes. So basically they've got a considerable amount of time to get open, but it depends on how the barriers themselves repair, because if they have an hour and 40 minutes to get there, 6,000 seconds, the barriers that Ichigo initially broke should have already been fixed because he was leaving hours ago. But that might just be an oversight with Kubo. We'll probably have to let that one slide. Maybe. That was basically it for things to note, really. I mean, there's not much other than the typical attacks given. Minai is punching Ichigo straight through like about 6, 7, maybe 8 buildings. Nanana is down smash with both of his hands. That's basic. The old man Quincy's gun, still basic. And, well, one thing to note, actually, Basby is using his Volstandig again. You can see both the wings as he goes up behind Ichigo and grabs him and prepares to use Burner Finger 1 on him. So basically, it's a partial release too because you don't see the halo. But it's probably at this point, because both times he's used it, it's mostly been a speed thing. It's been to get him where he needs to go quickly rather than slowly, but that seems to be about it. Aside from that, that's basically it. There's not much else to note other than, who's shown up and what the potential matchups might be, even though this is still a 6v8, 6v8 now. With Ichigo leaving, that only leaves 6 Shinigami versus 8 Sternritter, so that might either change the matchups a bit. It might result in, a 2v1 or a 2v2 kind of situation, even though, the numbers still don't work out. Or some people just might not fight at all. Some of the Sternritter might pass on fighting at the moment, or some others might show up. We still haven't seen Shinsui or Ukitake. They might come back, or they might actually end up going to where Ichigo is going, and it's possible we might see, Haschwalth being left behind to deal with those, them that are coming, or otherwise maybe the other 4 Sternritter we don't know will. So, predictions for this chapter. Well, not this chapter. Next chapter, I guess. Akira, you got anything?
Basically, again, with what Hunter said, we don't have much to go off of this time around, other than the, of course, soon-to-be battle that's going to happen with the 86. Assumingly, that's what it's going to focus on, unless we get exposition, which might happen again, as he had stated prior. The 4 empty spaces are definitely something of curiosity. So maybe we'll get that revealed. Maybe we'll get another battle. Other than that, I don't really have much to say about what can happen next week.
So basically that, I mean, it's apparent we're going to get battle chapters again. Personally, I'd like to call it Fate Carpet Town Part 2 because that's kind of what it's setting itself up for, but not in the same sense as last time. Um, Personally, I think Yumichika, Hisagi, and Ikaku will go up against the Ritters. It's possible Byakuya might go up against Gordon or Pepe, either or. Renji might go against Nana Nana Na, or just Na Na Na, however many Nas are in that name, because that's been hyped up for some time now. We know that, whatever his ability is, he's used it against Renji, so there's a setup there already. And then Rukia might go up against Basby, although not many two people are going to be interested in seeing another fire versus ice type of fight, because we already saw how that went with Basby and Hitsugaya, and it didn't exactly turn out that great. But then again, no one's really turned out that great against Basby because we don't know at the moment what's happened to Shinji or Omeda, Kiori. We don't know what happened to them. Last time we saw them, the lava was surrounding them, and it's implied they got off-screen, not off-screen as in killed, but as in defeated and, incapacitated or something, or otherwise they might be coming soon. So that's really the most I can see the next coming weeks is going to be the potential battles between these six against the 8 Sternritter. And that's pretty much it. It's a relatively short chapter again this week, so there's not really much to say about it or predict about it.
So again, short chapter, which we do more as our returning video. But for now, this will be it for this week. Hopefully next week, predictions may be right, probably will be at this point, and we can develop on something longer, maybe more in depth. So again, thanks for watching. My name is Akira,
I'm Hunter.
and this has been Theorized Manga, and we'll see you all next week.